Hi, I'm Tom Marshello. I'm the director at Sweet Engine.
Hi, I'm Len Bobinski, product developer at Sweet Engine, specifically working on RPM.
How did I first get involved with Sweet Engine? Interestingly enough, Sweet Engine was not initially in the RPM business, in the software production business. We initially were designed to be doing recurring services, recurring revenue, things like that we would be, offering to BC clients and so forth. So we ended up acquiring RPM, and that's when I became part of Sweet Engine. With my past experience working in this particular industry, was asked to try and spearhead that project and make RPM a success there. So I got involved with Sweet Engine from that initial side of things, and it's been 6 years now already since that day, which is great. And of course, too, that when we acquired RPM, we also acquired Mr. Len Bobinski.
So that segues perfectly into how I got involved in Sweet Engine. Once Tom got involved in Sweet Engine, I remember I was at a previous company, and Tom had talked with the owners over there about not only our rental product, but myself as well, bringing the two of us over to Sweet Engine because they wanted to start this product development group, which I thought was awesome. So I was totally on board when I heard about it. Of course, Tom was working there, so of course I wanted to go there. Sorry, Tom, don't get a big hitter. But yes, I really wanted to come over to Sweet Engine. I thought that'd be a great thing. So when I was finally brought over to Sweet Engine, very, very happy. And RPM has grown so much since then.
Yeah, we couldn't do it without you, Len. We couldn't bring RPM over without you. That's for sure. I've been with Sweet Engine this is my 10th year now. So I'm excited about that. A decade with our company is awesome. And really, what motivates me to stay and want to continue to drive success is Len. It's Heather. It's the other Heather. It's all the people that we work with. Our staff are fantastic. I've never been at a company that helps each other so much, that really truly collaborates effectively, that encourages everybody. Positivity in our company is sky high. I mean, we are encouraged all the time to give positive feedback to somebody, kind of make somebody's day almost every day that you can. We're all driving towards a common goal. We do want success as a business, but our real success is with each other and with our clients. If everybody is processing things properly, except making sure that their business is running properly, making sure that we're giving them the features they need, it makes everybody happy. And so I have found personally the place I'm going to be retiring from. So I found that 10 years ago. I knew that when I first came on board, and I'm really happy that I'm still here today, 10 years later. I look forward to the next decade.
Oh boy, I was really hoping to disagree with you on something, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It really is all the people. I love that we're such a tight-knit, I guess I would call it almost like a family. Sweet Engine's almost like a family.
Absolutely.
And I know that sounds very cliche, but it's so true. we are all so close together. So if one thing was going to motivate me to stay here, it would really be that. It's really the people that I work with. It's been a long time since we actually started RPM and RPM came about. So can you tell us a little bit about how did RPM get started and really what inspired all the, the development that goes into it?
Great question. I love it. So, Len, we've been working together for 20 years now, right? Or probably even more than that.
Has it been that long?
It's been a long time. Yeah. So way back when, 2 companies ago, when we were working at a couple of companies ago, we knew that there were issues with customer satisfaction. There were certain stuff in the product that we kind of liked in this old product, not RPM, of course, but in the old product, we kind of liked it, but knew that there were lots of areas of improvement for having a really good rental system or rental and service system for clients, right? So I think what inspired it was really client driven. So the idea of making it way more user-friendly, servicing the industry better, that's kind of what inspired, I believe, the development of RPM. But then, of course, that just got escalated and brought even further along once Sweet Engine purchased RPM. So once RPM and yourself came into the fold at Sweet Engine, once we actually brought it in-house, we really sat down and said, okay, well, what are we gonna do with this product? So bringing it over to Sweet Engine now, with our focus on these dealer management systems, right? We're a DMS for equipment dealerships. So, really now making the development driven towards the DMS, I think is inspiring to me. We've got some great features that we really added since it's been brought over to Sweet Engine in making it so that it truly serves that market. I'm curious on that front, on all these great new features that we have. What was like a couple of your favorite features that you've added to it? What are the most that you personally worked on?
It's hard to say because a lot of the pieces that are in RPM now were conceived by not only myself, but with you and also with our former partner that we used to work with. So they helped a lot, and you have helped a lot to develop a lot of these pieces. All I've done is I've taken the pieces that we thought were great and put my own little spin on them. So I like to add options for users. So even though we talk about, let's say, service contracts, right? So we got the service contracts out there and warranties now. We have warranties out there also. I don't want to just write a service contract piece or a warranty piece. I want to add options for the users to be able to have warranties by planned maintenance, which we had talked about, or you can do it individually by an item or by a unit or something like that. So I'd have to say that one of the biggest things would be just my own touches, my own little options for the user to be able to use it one way or another way. I think it makes RPM a lot more flexible that way.
It definitely does. And that's one of the things I really love working with you on these types of feature sets, is because I'll come up with an idea. And then you'll be like, oh, well, what if we did it this way and that way? Or how about all the ways? So we had an option for everything in there. And that's one of the greatest, I think, development achievements that we have in RPM. And it's kind of led by you on that front, is really making it so it's user driven and not necessarily just what we think is in our head that should be in there.
Yeah, so, that's true. Yeah.
I know, when we first started it, there was a lot of ideas as to what we wanted to put into the product. So I'm curious, what are some of the biggest milestones you believe we've put into the product as far as development goes?
I would have to say rentals themselves. I was very surprised to find out that Business Central didn't have that in its actual software itself when we first started. So one of the biggest milestones, I know this sounds funny, but is really our ability to take care of rental companies now. The extra pieces we added in there, like the segments. Segments are like the greatest things in the world, right? You have this rental that's going over time. And we want to make sure that we can show the user how it's going to be split up over time, being able to put in changes to the lines and being able to see all that, and then being able to bill now or into the future. That was a big milestone. The entire service piece that we added in, which, I got to say was really your thing, Tom. You started with that. So kind of rewriting our own service piece into RPM, that was a huge milestone. The units, having the different levels of units with the subcategories and categories and product lines and all that stuff, and being able to report on them as well. RPM has grown from this little rental program to a huge piece now.
A huge dealer management system, truly.
Yeah.
That was the key to us getting that service piece into there too, because as we know, standard Business Central service leaves a little bit to be desired. So getting our meters in there, I thought was really good too.
That's a great piece.
Huge aspect for the this DMS. So. Yeah, I concur with everything you said, Len. All of that is great functionality and love it. The product roadmap goes for our future plans and so forth. What do you feel your strongest role is in that, in defining this product roadmap and making us get to the next level in the future?
My key role, I would have to say there's really twofold to this. The first part are the features themselves. So thank goodness for you and the consultants and being able to work well together, because we come up with some great features that are going to go into RPM. When we start working on them, the developers and I, we want to make sure that the coding adheres to the standards that RPM has now. New developers that come in and work with us sometimes, don't know about those type of standards. So one of my key roles is taking what they've done and making sure that it fits the RPM standards. That's number one. But number two is kind of a more important piece, and that is I've worked directly for a client before, so I kind of have a better sense of exactly how a user would want to use this. Kind of the same as you and the other consultants when you're talking with, all your clients. You're seeing the users use our product all the time. I was able to see that, and boy, that taught me a lot. One thing I'm always looking for in the product when people bring me features is mainly we want to make sure that it's user friendly. Right. Can a user use this well? And is it made for a user, right? We're developers. We write things as a developer would write things, but I want it to be good for the user itself. So that's two of my key roles, I would have to say.
I agree wholeheartedly, and that absolutely flows through into how users using the system. We get good feedback on the usability of it. So great work on that front.
What are some success stories that you've heard from the clients, or the way they're using it that really wows them? What helps their business a lot?
Great question. And the biggest benefit that I hear from most of our customers, the idea or the fact that RPM, Business Central, really, truly, we're built together, provides them with a solution that is just all in one. It's your single source of truth, right, of all of your data. So outside, when people are coming and analyzing us and trying to buy RPM or wanting to buy RPM or whatever, most of the time people are using disparate systems. They've got multiple different systems. They're tracking, for instance, like their equipment utilization on a spreadsheet. And I can't tell you how many times people come in and open up RPM and they're like, oh, great. I could just open up my unit and I can see exactly how well this unit's doing, all the revenue against it, the cost against it, all the utilization tracking. I mean, we just aggregate all that data together without, them even having to do anything but just processing and doing their normal job. So I think that I hear that a lot from them, like, hey, this is fantastic, being able to see down to the individual unit how well that unit is doing, because you make business decisions based off of those units, that type of data, right? Do I need to dispose of this unit? Should I sell it? Should I keep it going because it's 95% utilized or whatever? So that's a big one that I hear all the time. Also, some of the even smaller features, like, we had a customer in the trailer industry who, when we first started, right, we had individual meters. You're allowed to put on a single meter against, a particular unit. Well, we developed now capabilities to add, for instance, trailer industry. They need they need to track their brake pad usage, and they need to track their tire tread and the miles on the trailer and so forth and so on. So like, these are multiple meters, and whether it goes negative or positive, those little additions, we've gotten really good feedback on stuff like that from our clients as well. That really helps them to be able to do their recurring billings, to do all of that fun stuff when they didn't have that capability before. Everything was manually tracked. So I feel like that's the biggest success that we get out of our clients is giving them one single source of truth. Everything is in one spot for you. Well, one of the major initiatives we do from the sales side of RPM is to attend industry trade shows. We do 5 or 6 trade shows a year, which really puts us in front of all of the decision makers, people who are running these rental, sales, and service businesses out there. And it gives us great insight into what these folks are looking for in the product. I mean, we talk with people all the time about that. We incorporate that feedback into the development of RPM by taking them, writing it all down we're putting it into our DevOps system, which allows us to track and then develop and add these different feature sets. So that's how we incorporate the feedback we receive from these various prospects and clients out there. And in addition to that, we're talking to clients too all the time. So they're like, hey, I would like this feature added or that feature added because this is going to help me in this trend or whatever it might be. Great, then let's incorporate that into the product. So that's some of the ways that we do get some of that feedback into the development.
If I had to say what the marketing trends were that we follow or how we keep the system up to date, I'd really have to say that the marketing is more left on the consultant side or the sales side, because we like to hear a lot from them. And that helps us incorporate our features better toward what's out there right now. Our biggest side on the development side is more in the back end of what's happening with Business Central. Since we have the developers of Business Central themselves. They have a nice chat group out there, and then they put on these office hours every once in a while. So I'm always attending these to try to see what's coming up in the future and what kind of changes they're making in Business Central, which may not only impact how RPM is going to work going forward, but it may make me rethink some of our features. When we come up with features, a lot of the times we're doing them because we think this is going to help users the best. What ends up happening a lot, believe it or not, is Business Central will come up with something out there. They'll say, oh yeah, we're adding this into this next release or this, and then I'm like, oh, well, that kind of goes well with this feature. Maybe I can expand that feature to include that piece as well. And then the updates that they're doing to Business Central all the time. It's a twice yearly cadence that they update Business Central. So on our side, we're always trying to keep up to date with Business Central to make sure RPM can always be installed and work great on the latest version.
Everything is really moving to the cloud. I mean, if you look at the traditional DMS from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, obviously there wasn't a lot of cloud-based solutions then, so everything was server-based, and you had to manage your own network, manage all that aspect.
That was horrible.
And a lot of these older DMSs, of course, are on also older technology. One of the benefits that SuiteEngine, I believe, has to date is the fact that we are with one of the top software manufacturers in the world, Microsoft, partnered with them on a solution, Business Central, that has been cloud-based now for 6 years or so, I think, right? So it truly is a game changer. It's changing the way that people are able to run their businesses. We all know, based over the last few years, and some people getting stuck at home and things like that, that it's kind of necessary to be able to work from anywhere. And I think that that's where we're going to see most everything moving towards, especially in this DMS industry, in the next 5 to 10 years. It'll all be cloud-based, and we're already at the forefront of that. So that's exciting for us.
The DMS systems, moving forward, there's a couple things that we're really interested in that we're moving toward as well. And that is, number one, paperless. Everything is becoming electronic these days. Not only payments, electronic payments, but you should be able to send out your invoices electronically and receive the payments for that electronically. Not only that, sending things to techs. You want to be able to send like your delivery information, route sheets, all this stuff out to people electronically and be able to send back responses electronically. Yeah. You should be able to see availability of your units electronically. So all this stuff is coming up in the future. And then the last piece I would have to say is really AI, artificial intelligence. This is getting a lot of traction right now, believe it or not. So I'm trying to keep on top of where Business Central is going and where I think RPM might be able to go with that. So that's another piece I'd have to say. But wow, it's moving in a really, really, really fast direction. You think about computers, right? How they
Absolutely.
Came up so quickly. Now look where we're going. Whew.
Yeah,
amazing.
And the fact that Microsoft has already built in some native AI capabilities into Business Central just shows that we're really truly at the forefront.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of fun too. Woohoo!
Exactly.